Dear Diary, I tried reading a book today. Can you believe it? It was a book called I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, which I relate to heavily because I'm neither perfect nor a daughter, but I certainly am Mexican. I made it to the table of contents before I got distracted by looking at some welding, but I'm sure the rest of the book was just as awesome.
Wait, so you didn't read the book at all?
No. Look, I have it right here. I've read it like a bunch.
Sure.
I'm like super learned and stuff. Now leave. And give me the diary back.
Here you go.
Hello, welcome to the Director's Chair. I'm your host, Jared Chavez Moreno, and today I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Adriana Domínguez, director of the fall UTEP show, I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. Adapted by Gómez and based on the book by Erika Sánchez, the story follows the story of a teenager coming to terms with losing her sister and finding herself amid pressures, expectations, and stereotypes of growing up in a Mexican-American household. And with all that out of the way, please help me welcome Dr. Adriana Domínguez. Woo!
Thank you.
And by the way, don't listen to what Iram said. I've read this book like a lot.
Sure.
Like super. I'm probably a Mexican daughter. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's just get that out of the way.
Okay.
So my first question is that the lead character, Julia, spends a lot of time in the show writing in her diary. And because of her dreams of becoming a writer, what do you think makes writing such an important tool for communicating?
Absolutely. I think Julia utilizes writing as a form of escape, right? It is a way to do it kind of privately. As you mentioned, she has a lot of pressures that she's dealing with. So this is a way that she can get out all of her thoughts and her feelings and how she's navigating these expectations in a private way that ideally no one else gets to see. And I think that allows her this sense of freedom that maybe she doesn't always get at home, and so writing allows her to have that.
It's that thing where you kind of escape your struggles in the real world by escaping to a different reality that maybe she's writing herself.
Absolutely, and it's her reality, right? She doesn't have to worry about anybody else's, right? It's also a really nice way not to have to edit your thoughts, right? When we speak out loud, we're worried about what other people are going to think, but if she's writing just for herself, then she has that opportunity to let it all out and not have to even self-censor, which I think, especially in the household that she's navigating, she has to do that a lot. And so writing allows her that escape and a lack of censorship, which I think she is desperately seeking.
She needs that a lot. But yeah, so another part of this show that's very big is the generational divides in this show. It touches on it quite a bit. And I just wanted to ask, could you low-key yap to the chat about the boomer-zoomer divide, especially amongst Latinos and how that shapes the story?
Absolutely. So first,
Did you
Jared,
understand any of the words I just
we're gonna have
said?
to clarify. I'm not a boomer.
All right.
First things first. Close, but not there.
All right, so could you tell us about how this divide, especially among Julia and her mother, how that plays a role amongst, or how that more mirrors the way that us as Latin Americans, we all kind of share that struggle.
Sure, and I think it's not just specific to Latinos or Mexican Americans, depending on definitions. I think it's specific in this play and the book, absolutely. But I think we will always find that generations have really specific ideas about what works and what doesn't, right? I'm a little older than you, Jared, just like a smidge, right? Just a bit. And I'm sure that I have very different ideas about like the world and maybe some values because I grew up at a different time, right? And so that frames how I experience the world, right? And so I think in this book and in the play, Julia's mom has had a very different experience than her daughter, right? She is an immigrant. She cleans homes. She hasn't had access to education. She is navigating poverty. She has had a very difficult process in being in the United States, and even her journey of migrating to the United States. And Julia, right, being young, maybe doesn't always understand that, right? She doesn't know what her mom or her parents have gone through. And so she doesn't understand why they are the way they are. We don't share or communicate our experience, people make assumptions. And I think that's what happens with Julia, right? Like that's what helps create that divide, because they don't talk to each other. And so they have no idea what the other is going through. And so of course people are gonna make assumptions, or they're gonna make determinations, and that creates that conflict, because neither of them, right, neither the older generation or the younger generation understand what the other has gone through, which again frames how they see the world.
And on top of that, Julia's mother is an immigrant. So do you think that that also frames the difference between them? Because
Absolutely.
Julia spent her life in the States, and her mother hasn't spent the whole entirety of her life.
Oh, absolutely. I think just even in terms of opportunities, right? Like Julia gets to go to school.
Yeah.
Right? She gets to even think about college. Her mom doesn't have that, right? She has to depend on others to almost allow her to clean their homes, which is really hard to see. And I think Julia gets a little bit of that, right? She gets an understanding of what her mom has to do, and also how she's treated by people who maybe have a lot more wealth and privilege, and what that's like. And so definitely it frames that, because Amaz is navigating a very different world, right? She's trying to make the best with what she has, but then I think also Julia can see what everybody else has, right? And that's really hard for a young person to see all these other people having stuff or things or access, and she doesn't have that. And I'm sure that can create some frustration, animosity, because her parents, they can't provide that. It's not possible.
Yeah. And actually, moving on, I'm going to move to the most important question I'm going to ask for you today.
Okay.
So, Iram, if you will. All right, so here we've got a couple choices for you.
Okay.
Here are some notorious, instruments of discipline used by Mexican parents.
Okay.
So out of these choices, the chancla, the slide, the croc, or even a sparkly shoe.
Okay, that's the secret shoe.
That's the secret
Okay.
shoe. Which one would you say is your personal favorite?
Love.
Yeah? Yeah, grab the thing. Yeah, I knew that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who even uses those barbaric instruments?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, anyways, I'm gonna move on to, Julia is the daughter of two Mexican immigrants on the south side of Chicago. And do you think that the problems that she faces in Chicago, do you think they translate to people who live in El Paso? Even though we might not have the same demographics, there's still there's a very big Hispanic and especially Mexican presence in Chicago. So do you think her problems that she faces there are something that a lot of people here can relate to?
Absolutely. Although it is set in Chicago, I do think that sometimes it could be set anywhere, right? Humans are always going to have conflict. We're always going to have misunderstandings. We're always going to have wants and desires. And so I think that translates to any space. We do have the unique experience that both in the book and in the play, a lot of what Julia experiences is framed by her city. Chicago, right? What she has access to, right? Whether it's art museums or bookstores or coffee shops. And so I think that makes it Chicago, right? And people who have been to Chicago, and it's an amazing place, will recognize that immediately. But I do think that it can be, transported anywhere. And I think also here we live on a beautiful border, and so sometimes we understand the complexities of what that means, right? To have multiple cultures and languages and nationalities and different statuses as well. And so I think we here might have an extra insight, right? That maybe it's not as solid, in other spaces, but I think definitely here we can, connect with that, because again, at the end of the day, it's humans wanting to do good things for themselves, and that can happen anywhere. And we do hope with the piece to get that feel of Chicago, though, because it is central to her life, right? For most of us, wherever we grew up, again, it frames, right, our experience, what we think, what we value, and so we hope to get that across as well. But I do think audiences here will definitely kind of be sucked in. I know when I read the book, when it first came out many, many years ago, I resonated with it completely, right? And I don't live in Chicago. I've been there, but I don't live there. But I definitely connected, and I'm hoping we do that with the show here.
Got it. All right, and just the last question, just to wrap up the interview. What's the main message that you want to share with people coming to watch this show? I'm sure a lot of people are going to come in because they've either read the book or they're interested in the pretty long title. What do you want those people to come out with?
I hope they come out with a lot. I think the main message I would have to say is be you. I think in this book and in this play, there are so many expectations that Julia's navigating, right? Whether it's about relationships or school or the future or her family or even her quinceañera, right? Like all of these pressures and expectations, and the weight of that really takes a toll. And this is a young person figuring out who they are. And so I think that's something that even if we're not super young, even though I am, everyone still deals with expectations, right? Whether it's, relationship status or wealth or education or what car you drive. I mean, everything. There's always these expectations. And I think sometimes that can take the joy away from who we are and the experiences that we have. And so I'm hoping that we release some of those, right? We let go of those expectations because they're not healthy. Right, and we definitely get to see that through Julia's experience, that all of these expectations of trying to be perfect, they don't manifest, and that really does take a toll on her. So I think, be you, right, and let go of those expectations because it's not worth it.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful way to wrap this entire thing up. Thank you again, Adriana, for coming.
Thank you so much, Jared.
All right, and don't forget to come watch I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter in the Wise Theater this fall. Give a child the seeds to grow, then watch them bloom. Wow. This book is great. Have you read I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter?
That's not the book.
Seriously? Oh.